Thirsty with the
Ding, ding,
bells.
ding, 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 ding. So we're on site again. So I don't have my bell again, but it's great. That means we're out and about and
We're doing great things.
And so
we're late getting the video today.
Yes, we had
some technical difficulties.
But
the devil is a lie.
He is a lie.
We're gonna get this thing going.
He's upset.
All right, so a couple reminders. Tonight. If you're not there already, you can make it tomorrow.
Yes.
But at the Right Way Christian Center, Uno conference began tonight. So you want to make sure you get there, get your youth, 6th grade and older. Get them to Uno tonight at Right Way on Moffitt Road. And then tomorrow and Saturday, you're doing a Winter Side weekend. If you're over 25,
the reunion.
If you're over 25, if you've done your Winter Side in the past, you want to participate in the reunion weekend this Saturday, this Friday and Saturday at Nazareth Full Gospel.
Yes, it's going to be epic.
Yes.
All right.
And the workshop begins on Monday. So that's 3 to 25.
Yeah.
So today.
Trusting
God.
Trusting God. Is that what the Lord is talking to you about?
Trusting God. You know why?
Why?
Because I love God.
I love God.
You don't love God? What's wrong with you?
But no, just seriously, as far as the Lord putting trust in, I know in my spirit, but Proverbs 3, 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord.
In all thine heart.
And lean not to thy
own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct
your path. Yes. And so in that right there, it can be kind of hard and kind of challenging. And for one thing, it's kind of hard to admit that you're not trusting God. A lot of times we don't even know that we're in that zone of not trusting God until...
Because we have control issues.
Control.
Yeah.
If
you have control issues, it's hard trusting anybody because you want to be in total control of everything. So if you're battling with control, that means you have a hard time letting other people just guide you. Because you have to know everything.
You have to know everything.
And that's kind of like even with God, you want to know what he's doing next. What's next? What's going on? And you got to trust God.
Yes, and that can be hard. I was reading a passage from Charisma magazine, and a young lady, the teacher, and I can't remember her name, but she had 4 young girls, and she was waiting on one of them to come and talk to her. They had just done a mission trip. She had just done a mission trip, and she wanted to really hear about her experience and what was going on. And so when the young lady came and she asked her, she said, well, how was your trip? What did you learn? Well, she expected her to talk about babies and maybe drilling wells and building houses. But the young lady actually said that what she learned was that over here in this country,
America,
we are spoiled and we are used to answering our own prayers.
Yeah.
And it really blew her away because she just said, over here, we pray, we ask God to help us do things, or we ask for things, and then we go and do it ourselves. We go make things happen ourselves, and we say that God did it. But in other countries and in other places, they don't have that option. If you don't have food, then you really are waiting on God to bring the food. If you don't have clothes, miracles, signs, and wonders, you really don't,
And it's we talked about this when I ministered this past Sunday. The Lord gave me something that was just so true. That as long as we have options, he'll be a last resort. Right. And I posted it on Facebook. So if you follow me on Facebook, you've seen that status. But we have so many options. And when we have options, Jesus and trusting God becomes the last resort. It's when we have run out of all of our options that he becomes our first choice. I had the opportunity to go on a mission trip myself a few years ago.
Right.
And the level of expectation on a mission trip in Africa from the people there is on a whole different level. And even as a missionary on the mission trip, seeing God manifest his power and seeing the things that God did while I was there that I have not seen him do in America, that I had not seen it, it's not being done, but I haven't witnessed it. Just seeing people who, a young man who something as simple as had not walked since he was born.
Right.
He was about 6 or 7 years old. And I watched how God used me and another young man to pray for this young man. And to see his legs gain strength, he's able to stand up. For the first time, he's never stood in 6 years. And his mom, we walked through the village and she's like, can you pray for anything? She's like, yeah. Can you pray for my son? And she left where she was, went up the hill, and she was gone so long. We sat down and started talking. I was wondering when she coming back. And she came back with her son, carrying him, because she trusted God and trusted the God in us enough to believe that what my son needs, you have the power to do it, to make it happen. And she went to her room, to her home, wherever she went, to get her son and brought him back. And we watched what God did in his life. And we take God for granted and his power. We take it for granted.
We do.
What you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the fact that he's trying so hard to minister with this hand.
Yes.
Because he speaks with his hands when he ministers.
And I'm trying not to use my hand.
Would you like for me to help you out? Go ahead.
So, like I was saying, when you're on location, you don't have a cameraman with you.
Right.
But when they trust God so much that where they would leave what they're doing to go to their home, to bring them back to say, I want you to pray for him because I believe that God can do what I need him to do for my son. And it's like, oh, wow, it's so amazing. When we ministered on Sunday at the church, how the woman with the issue of blood and even Jairus' daughter, when he came, his daughter was almost dead. And he left his home to go find Jesus because he said, if I can just get to Jesus and get him in my house, I know my daughter will be okay.
Right.
He trusted God just that much. The woman with the issue of blood, she spent all she had on the doctors, but she said, finally, if I could just get to Jesus, I know everything will be okay. We shouldn't have to get to a point to where we've tried everything else and now I just got to get Jesus because I've tried everything else. Make Jesus your first choice.
Amen. Because you don't want Ishmaels in your life. You don't want an Ishmael. You want an Isaac. You don't want something to try to make something happen on your own. You want God to make it happen. You want the perfect will of God for your life. You don't want the acceptable will. You don't want the good will. You want the perfect will of God for your life at all times. You always want to be in the perfect will of God. And so...
And a lot of times it's so amazing. You say that about the divine will of God because the enemy will always try. You believe in God for whatever. The enemy will send a counterfeit or a lookalike or a almost there.
You want to let my camera go? Thank you.
Or an almost there, but not quite there, but almost there.
Yeah.
So you settle for the almost there because you don't have the patience.
Right, that's it.
Because you don't have the patience to wait for the promise.
That's it.
So you settle for the first thing that comes at you when that's not the promise, but it's close enough to the promise and I'm tired of waiting.
Right.
So because it's close enough to the promise, but not quite the promise, I'm going to go ahead and settle for this right here.
And just a quick testimony, even myself. I mean, I had to actually repent because I was not patient enough to wait on God in an area. And it was so funny because I actually told a lie. Yes, I did.
I can't believe it either.
I know. And when I did, it's so funny because I'm not a liar. I'm one of those.
She confessed immediately.
I can't lie because my lies I learned when I was a little girl a long time ago. My lies come to pass. So I don't lie. And so when I told the lie actually came to pass quickly.
It was a good lie, though.
It was a good lie.
It was a good lie. It wasn't a bad lie.
No lie is good.
I mean, yeah. You're right.
But this one happened to be good. Actually good.
It was a favorable tale.
But and I felt so bad because the lie came about because I did not have patience. And I was trying to work something out on my own.
Wow.
And so I just thank God that it happened to be one of those lies that was okay.
Yeah.
But even in that, just me not having patience. Just not having patience. And so if you know that you're having a problem with patience, I'm not going to ask you to pray for patience.
Receive it by faith.
Just receive patience by faith. You praying for patience, that's another testimony.
But we want to know in this video, trust God with your whole heart. Trust Him with everything you have. Even when you don't see it, even when it hasn't manifested yet, even try to send you a counterfeit. Don't settle for the counterfeit. Have the patience and wait for the promise. Trust Him. He will make good on His word, and He definitely will make good on His promise.
Trust God.
Trust God. Wait on God. His word shall not lie.
He won't.
All right, He will not lie. So until we meet again on next week, remember this. impact lives, and change the world one person at a time. God bless you, and we love you.
Just need one more.